Good evening and welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with myself, John Homewood.
And Michelle McLuhan. Hi everybody.
Hi, welcome. Welcome. It's our joy to be with you tonight, and I think it's important at this time for us to center our energies and focus on what is real. And what is always real is the present moment. The present moment is the portal that we have to the divine. And so we take an hour out of our busy week to center ourselves in this moment on a Sunday night, every second Sunday, every fortnight, and we do a satsang. And the idea is to bring a collective consciousness together and for us to open our hearts and to be channels for the light to enter this dimension. And that's how important we are. You know, it takes one small candle to light a whole hall. And that really is what we're doing. We are becoming channels, beacons of light. And as we open and allow the light to shine through us, we become a lighthouse for others to awaken and for others to do the same. What the world needs now is more light. So welcome. Thank you for taking a bit of time out of your day, out of your evening, or whenever you're watching this, whatever time of the day it is for you, to be with us. We love doing these satsangs and we love having you with us. Please won't you just type up in the comments box who you are, your name, and where you're from, and if you have any questions or queries or anything you'd like us to discuss, you can type them up as well.
Hi,
so thank you.
Hi, Stella. Welcome.
And tonight we're going to be, it's a full moon in a few hours time, isn't it? And so it's a full moon meditation tonight, and which you'll end off the session with. And also we're going to be looking at the eye of the storm, the eye of the storm. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, the topic of a storm at the moment, because Cape Town's been having so much rain. Yeah, we're in the garden route and we could do with some more rain. Yeah. We don't have much rain here. Hello,
Hi,
Teresa. Hello.
Hi, Judy.
Yeah, and Sharon.
Sharon, hi.
Hi.
Lovely to see you all.
Hi, welcome. Welcome.
Good. Getting ready for the full moon. It's kind of full already.
Yeah, it is.
It hasn't reached its fullness yet.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, so we always start out with a centering meditation, and then Michelle just talks a little bit about the astrology of the moment. And I'm sure this full moon is bringing in some energies.
It sure is.
I'm sure there's some emotions going at the moment. Anyone experiencing any emotions at the moment? Yeah. And then we'll talk a little bit about the eye of the storm, and then Michelle will lead us out with a beautiful full moon meditation at the end.
Hi, Arlette. Hi, Robin. Thanks for joining us.
Hi. Yes.
Okay, you're going to bring us in then?
Yes. All right. So just settle in. See that you're comfortable. We always light a candle. You might like to set an intention for the satsang, an intention maybe for healing or for clearing. It's good to set intentions. So just gently settle back. Close your eyes if you wish. You don't have to. You can keep your eyes open. Sometimes it's good to do an open eye meditation, just focusing on the flickering flame of a candle. That's quite powerful as well. But by closing our eyes, we withdraw our mind from the visual sense of the room around us. And it's a good idea at this moment to withdraw our minds from all other times and all other places. Just become centered in the only place that's real right now. And that is this present moment here. This present moment contains two things. First of all, it contains the awareness of the things in this present moment, your body being one of them. But deeper than that, the present moment is presence itself and never changes. And that is who and what we are. Eternal beings of consciousness, which we can call presence or life. So just focus for a moment on the body, on the chair that you're sitting on. The body is seated, or maybe lying on the floor or bed. But just become aware of what is supporting the body right now. You can possibly feel the seat of the chair supporting your bum, and just be aware of those sensations coming into the body. And possibly the back of the chair is supporting your back. Just lean back a bit further and feel that support. Become aware of where your hands are resting right now. Become aware of your fingertips. And become aware of any sensations coming into your awareness through your fingertips. You might feel an energy inside your hands, a tinglingness, an aliveness. Just bring your awareness into that. Become aware of where your feet are touching. Become aware of your toes. And just feel the aliveness in the toes as well. Fingers and toes are such powerful portals to bring us into the body. And now let's use the portal of breath to bring us present. Take a very deep breath into the body. Very, very deep breath. And then a long breath out. And now on the next breath, let's breathe in very deeply into the body, right down to the solar plexus. So as we breathe in, we push the tummy out, we draw the air right the way down into the body. And as we breathe out, we just surrender and allow the tummy to come back towards the spine as we squeeze the air out of the body. Breathing in again deeply into that diaphragm, pulling the tummy out as you breathe in, you're blowing the tummy out. And then as you breathe out, you drop your shoulders. So we're breathing in by pushing our tummy out, and breathing out by bringing our tummy back again. This is a beautiful yogic relaxation breath that we're doing. So take another very deep breath into the tummy, blowing the tummy up like a big ball, more, and then let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Now just hand over the breathing to life itself, this intelligence in the body that is breathing you. Just allow it to breathe you without any interference or control on your part. Just hand it over. And I know there are a lot of humans who are very focused on trying to control life, but the one thing that works much better without the control is the breath. If we just allow life to breathe us, it works much better. Same way with the heart. We just allow the heart to beat. We allow the body to look after its metabolic processes without any interference from us. The body works much better. And what interferes with the breath and what interferes with the beating of the heart and the metabolic processes are generally thoughts. When we think anxious thoughts or fearful thoughts, we release adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol into the body and speeds the heart up, makes the breathing shallower. But in this moment, we clear the thoughts from the mind and we become more aware of the space between our thoughts. And we allow life to breathe us rhythmically, just in a flow, in a gentle flow, rather like waves lapping at the beach. Just gently in and out, keeping our awareness possibly on the tip of our nose, just becoming aware of the breath entering in and out of the nostrils. And with each out breath, let us just sink deeper into the body, into the physical body. Now let us gently relax the forehead, relax the cheeks, relax the little muscles around the eyes. Let us relax the jaw, Just release any tension that you hold in your jaw. Relax the tongue, placing it, touching the roof of the mouth is helpful, just in behind the top teeth. Let's relax the back of the head, the neck, the shoulders, dropping this relaxation down the arms, dropping this relaxation down the body, the torso, down the spine, to the pelvic region, relaxing the thighs, the knees, the shins, the calf muscles, the ankles, and right down to the toes. Just relax. Use the out-breath to sink deeper and deeper into this present moment here and now. It's a very sacred moment, sacred gathering. Let us connect in our hearts with this beautiful group of people here tonight. Let's feel our hearts opening with compassion and empathy. This human journey is not always easy, but when we collectively join together as a community, we provide a supporting energy that really does benefit those around us, to help through the trials and tribulations of this journey we call the human. Let's extend this energy of compassion and empathy to our loved ones, our families and our friends. Anyone that you know is in need of healing right now, let's hold them in a beautiful bubble of green light, tinged with a blue. The green light representing the heart chakra. And the blue light representing the higher energies of transformation and healing. And let's extend this beautiful light around Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, and let's bring healing to this beautiful planet and all who call her home. Let's set an intention for love and peace to return to the consciousness of all who live on this planet. This is our true essence. Take another very deep breath in and a long breath out. And keeping this awareness of centeredness, of presence, gently, softly, when you're ready, open your eyes and to see how the room feels right now in this moment.
That was lovely, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
So what's happening in the
everybody.
sky?
If we disappear, it does say slow connection, so hopefully we'll be fine, but it's just coming up as a little note.
Well, we live in a slow town. We live near a slow town.
It's actually called Slow Town.
Yeah, Sedgefield.
We're not even in the town.
We're outside in the rural area outside Sedgefield, and Sedgefield is known as a slow town.
So we have a full moon tomorrow, and it's in the sign of Aquarius, which is about vision and newness and community and authenticity and marching to the beat of our own drum. But it's in some quite tricky configurations with this full moon. So you haven't watched it yet, but I did do a video on it, and I just see it as a little bit of a stormy weather for, I think, on the exterior, not necessarily personally, but I think the world is sort of swirling a bit. Energetically, there's a lot of change afoot, and so it's not just tomorrow. It's sort of tomorrow and then carrying on for a bit. So we just thought that we would discuss the storm, because it feels that there is a bit of storm. I think many people are facing storms, whether it's personal, whether it's financial, health-wise. There's a lot of people dealing with a lot of challenges. So this is this energy, this is this evolutionary energy, which is clearing us of what we don't need anymore to carry. And full moons are always a time to release. It's always the culmination of the moon cycle. So it's where we actually let go, release, sort of bring in something, you know, clear the fields so that we can actually bring in something new.
Yeah, full moon is the culmination of something, isn't it?
It's the culmination of the moon cycle.
Yeah, and then a release. Or?
It's a release.
Yeah.
But this one feels a little bit like a pressure cooker. It feels like the pressure's been building. And I think particularly in America, it's going to just be interesting to see what unfolds there, because it's really triggering their chart a lot. But I think that we're all feeling that the force of change. And what's happening in the full moon is you've got the sun and the moon, and you've actually got the sun in a conjunction with Mercury, and then the moon opposite it. And then you've got the planet of change, which is actually in what we call a square. So there's a sort of it's Uranus, which is, it's kind of like an electric energy. It's a buzzy sort of, it can be very unsettling. It can feel a little bit agitated, a little bit like there's an underground current of energy that's moving. And it is. So if you're feeling that, then just know it'll pass, but there is that energy of change, that things are quite radically changing. So you might feel that there's a kind of electric build-up, or a pressure cooker would probably be a good example of the energy.
And you mentioned there America. You said it's triggering in America. What does that mean?
So each country and each person has a chart. America has a chart when the Declaration of Independence was signed, and it's basically this full moon sits on the full moon on the moon of America's chart exactly. And it's as I said, it's in a square to Uranus, which can actually mean volatility. It can mean, it can be anything from dis-ease to volatility to violence to sudden shocks, sudden changes. I mean, we've got a few people in our circle that have had sudden shocks this week, really sudden, just out the blue, of ill health and that kind of thing. So I think it's just important that we know what the energy is doing, so that we can choose how we want to engage with it.
Yeah, and you said it's triggering, also affecting Trump's chart, and who else was it? You said a few people.
Kamala Harris as well.
Kamala Harris,
Trump
yeah.
I know they've got their conference tomorrow, the Democratic Convention.
So maybe we'll have a volcano erupt tomorrow.
Anything can happen. I don't predict events, but I prefer to stay with the energy of it as opposed to predicting specifics, because it's very difficult to predict specifics.
Yeah.
But there's a definite underlying energy of change, and change is always unsettling because it's the unknown. And I think many people are facing the unknown right now. They're sort of in a limbo state, and they're not quite sure what's actually happening. So it can be very enlivening. It's an enlivening energy as well for new, to bring in the new. It's sort of a rebel energy. It's a revolutionary energy. Uranus is the planet which rules revolution, evolution, change, people standing up, the people standing up for what's true and what's real and what they want. So that's the energy that we do.
Yeah. And to recognize that the most turmoil that can be experienced is coming from the mind. And you mentioned Mercury there. So there's obviously a strong mind energy at the moment, because Mercury represents the mind. And so tonight's topic for the Satsang is the center, the eye of the storm. So if we can just for a moment see that the world's events are whirling around us, changes maybe in our personal lives, and relating to possibly health or wealth, relationships, etc. And then we have the macro environment of the political arena, etc. And this new deadly disease that's coming out called monkeypox or whatever. Yeah, that's another whole story. But the media is really whipping up a lot of storms around everything. And so we can imagine all of this information going around and see it for a moment, not as physical things out there that are twirling around, although you may be experiencing a physical storm, but see it as thoughts. See all this information whirling around us, whirling around us and whirling around us. But the thing about any storm, any like cyclone, tornado, right in the center, there's a place of peace. And so if we have our minds whirling around with all these thoughts and all these worries about tomorrow and about yesterday and what may happen and what did happen, just know that in this moment there is a place to find the stillness, the peace that your heart really seeks. And that is called the present moment. So while we're going through this time of huge transformation on planet Earth, and it is huge, absolutely huge, it can be termed the apocalypse, which, if you go back to the Greek origin of that word, it just means for the veil to come down, for that which is hidden to be revealed. And so we're seeing the sort of insubstantiability of big corporations, big systems crumbling, and that is because they were always in states of illusion, but we depended on them for our sense of security and peace and happiness, etc. But they were always illusionary props to life, and now it's being revealed how insecure and unstable that they are, and we're going to see a lot more of that, I predict. And while that veil comes down, there's an opportunity to find what is more real than this world of illusion. So the word apocalypse doesn't mean the end of the world. It means for that which is hidden to be revealed. And so that's the time that we're going through. And the mind finds it very unsettling, because the mind is a weird thing. It really loves stability. It loves stability, loves predictability. But the mind, being the weird thing that it is, it also gets bored with stability. It really does. It actually loves novelty. And so we have this conflict going on in the mind. It really wants predictability and security, and yet it also enjoys the novelty. And I'm going to suggest that you can find that stability not in the world of form, not in the world of the thoughts or the emotions, because they're probably being stirred up, and we said about the full moon at the moment, so that brings up emotions to the surface. But in the middle of all of that, in the middle right now, is peace. Right here, in this present moment, there is stillness. And it's to find that which is in the space between our thoughts. And I always say it's easier to wake up from a nightmare than a comfortable dream. When everything is stable and predictable, then it's very easy to get caught up in ourselves being that world, being our relationships, being our roles, being our careers, being our financial situations, when everything's stable. But when everything becomes unstable, that's the opportunity to find that which isn't being threatened. So in your lives, if you are going through a bit of instability at the moment, just find out, ask an inquiring question of yourself. What right now is not being threatened? What right now is not unstable? What right now is actually in a state of peace? And if you can find that in this storm that we're experiencing right now, that's something that will stand you in very good stead as we move through more and more change in the world around us.
Yeah, absolutely, because the change is going to continue. And that's not fear-mongering, that's just the way it is. This is not over. So the structures are going to continue to collapse. I know Eckhart has a saying all structures are unstable. They are. So everything in the world of form is not stable. But we've been socialized and brought up to believe that it should be stable. So we place a huge amount of emphasis on finding our security in the outside world, in what we see as stable. So when that starts to actually go a bit wobbly, unless we've actually got that central core of stillness and stability inside us, we're going to spin out. So for me, it's the wheel with the dot in the middle. And if you're on the outside of the wheel, the faster that wheel spins, we're going to spin. And so we have a choice of going into the middle of that wheel. And it's just a really good analogy. It's a good visual. If you find yourself spinning, and it's the mind that's spinning, obviously. It's the mind that's, it's also picking up on the collective mind. So I think it's also just to be aware, especially at this time, especially for the next few weeks. Collectively, we are all connected. So when there's a lot of anxiety in the field, when there's a lot of fear in the field, if we're not grounded and centered in our own being, in our own sovereign being, we tend to get carried away by the instability of the field, because we just get taken from here to there, and we feel the energy of each other even if we don't know it. So it's really important. This is probably one of the most important times in our lifetimes where we're going to get to use these tools of coming back into the place of stillness, into that place of quiet, the peace that John was speaking about. That's there all the time, underneath the mind. Because the mind's doing this all the time. And right now, that's activated, particularly with these energies that I'm seeing astrologically, and I think in many other ways as well. So it's very active. It's a very active energy.
Yeah. And 4 years ago in 2020, I wrote a newsletter there about the virus, and I said, well, there are 3 viruses doing the rounds right now, and there were. And the first virus was the one that we know about, and I said, don't worry about that. There's some very natural things that you can do. It's no more dangerous than the normal flu. I said that's not the one to worry about, but the real one to worry about is the fear virus. And you were talking there about fear and anxiety in the world. It's very contagious. And so just be very careful at who you mix with and what media you watch. If you are with people that are fearful and anxious, you might just catch their fear and their anxiety. If you're watching media that's immersed in fear and anxiety, just be careful, because it is going in and having a psychological effect on you. So just be careful of that. And I said, well, there's that first virus, yeah, that's the one that you can sort out naturally. The second virus, the fear virus, that's the one that you do not want to catch and you do not want to spread. I said the third virus during the rounds is the love virus. Now that is really, really strong at the moment. So there is an opportunity to step out of the mind and come into the center. The center is where we connect with love. You can think of your heart being the center of your being. So it's to step into the heart. And in the heart there's a stillness, a quietness. And as we start to make this more our home, in other words, we don't pay this brief visits. Like we don't go on holiday here occasionally. We start to live here from the heart, from this place of stillness, from this place of peace. We become a portal for peace in the world. And we start to actually spread that. In the same way that fear is spread through contagious contamination, we start to contaminate other people with our peace, with our presence. And that really is the coming down of the veil. The illusion is that we're not love. The illusion is that we're not peace. The illusion is that we're not this joyous energy of life which we are. The illusion has always told us that we're not any of that. And that's the illusion that's coming down now. And with the crashing of illusion, it does create a lot of anxiety within people if you are attached to your identity in the world of form. And there's a lot of people who are still attached to the idea of who they are, being what they do, what they have, what other people think of them, etc., their experiences. That's not what you are. You are something more eternal, more precious, more beautiful than any of that in the external environment. So it's to find who you are outside of reference to the physical world of experience. And it only takes one breath, one deep, beautiful breath taken with full awareness to find who and what you really are. You are the consciousness underneath all thoughts. You are the stillness underneath all the activity in the world around you. That is the eye of the storm. Irrespective of what's happening in your external environment, you can take that deep breath and you can find the stillness in this moment. And the importance of doing that is, first of all, you become more peaceful, you become more centered, you become more intelligent, but you become a portal for that energy to come into this dimension. And you can infect other people around you, as I said earlier, with your peace, with your presence, and with your love.
Because it's not really what happens to us, it's how we respond to what happens to us, or what happens in the world around us. And that is up to us in each moment. And right now, old triggers from past, from old conditioning, from old insecurities are coming to the surface so that we can see them. So if they're coming to the surface so that you can see them, don't blame yourself for that either. Just see it. Yeah, okay, there's that old fear. Here it is. It's come up to the surface so that I can see it, so that I can, if I need to feel it, I can feel it, but not identify with it. That's the biggie. Because as soon as you start to release the hold that it has on you, you often refer to it as delaminating your consciousness from that. So in other words, if the story is, or if there's a lot of fear about the future, whatever it is, as soon as we can step back, we're getting a distance from the story. And there's also a delamination, meaning that you're not the story. Because in the moment that you actually realize that you're not the story, you're free of the story, you're liberated. This full moon is about liberation. And I see it as being helping us to liberate ourselves from the story. But that means that the story might come up very intensely. Mercury is involved. Mercury is the mind. It's very involved in this T-square. So the story can come up in Technicolor. It's just to see it as the story. It's not the truth of who you are. You're the one, if you're the one that's seeing the story, then you're not the story. If you're one that's seeing the fear, you're not the fear. You're noticing it. You're the consciousness that notices it. So there's a stepping back.
Yeah, and with these emotions that you may be experiencing at the moment, it's not to identify, as Michelle was saying, with that emotion. It's to step back into the center, into the eye of the storm, right in the center of the storm. You don't need to escape the storm. You just step back into that center and know that you are not the emotion. You know, what the ego does is often attaches itself to the emotion for its identity. So the ego will definitely play the blame game, and it'll blame how you are feeling on external situations, circumstances, events, and people. That's what the ego does. However, this evolution that we're going through at the moment is an evolution of empowerment, of coming back to the immense power that each of us have. And what playing the blame game does is it disempowers us. How could I say that? Well, when you are busy blaming something outside of yourself for how you're feeling, you've given the power over how you feel to something outside of yourself. And the reverse of that is to be 100% responsible for what happens inside us. If I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling this way. It's my creation. It's not my mother-in-law's creation. It's not the government's creation. It's not the weather's creation. It's not even Trump's creation. It's my creation. I am feeling this. I'm creating this. And that's taking back your power. That's taking back your power. Whether you're feeling elated or whether you're feeling depressed, if you externalize your emotion onto something around you, you're disempowering yourself. If you're feeling elated, I am creating that feeling inside myself. If I'm feeling angry or depressed, I'm creating that. I'm the creator of my internal environment. That is empowerment, and that's what we are going through at the moment. As Michelle said, it's a delamination from what we're not to step into what we are. And we are powerful beyond measure. We've been hypnotized to believe that we are just a sort of cork bobbing on an ocean. We're not that. We are the most powerful essence of energy in all of creation. That's how powerful we are.
Yeah.
And it takes one conscious breath to step back into the presence, the being that we are. And from that point, that is where we are empowered to choose a new feeling, a new emotion, or a new thought, or a new action. That's where we are empowered to do that. If we're not centered, then something outside of ourselves has taken our power and is usurping us and leading us down paths of perhaps manipulation. So your point of power is in the present moment. Step back into that. That's the eye of the storm.
Yeah, because the thing is that when you've given your power away, you can also be controlled. So when you've handed that over to somebody else, they're then in control. So you've actually literally lost your power. You haven't actually, but you've given it out.
The perception is that you have.
The perception is that you've given.
You make me angry.
Power.
Well,
then you've given it to
you've
that
given
person.
it to them. Yeah.
And this situation makes me happy is the same thing, because you're actually now relying on that situation to stay like that so that you can stay happy, or that person to stay like that so that you can stay happy, or if this person really treats me in the certain way that I want them to treat me, then I'm happy, but if they don't, then I'm unhappy. You're also giving your power away. Because what happens when they don't? Or when the situation changes? Or when you don't get the job? Or you don't get the whatever it is? So it's all it's all here. This is where it lies. This is where our power lies. And this is the shift in human consciousness, from what I can see, is that we're stepping into this. But we are stepping out of very old conditioning that says the opposite. That we are not that. We're just these little people that are at the whim of all these things that are happening to us, and we're just going to be buffeted by the storm. And so we can see that, we can see ourselves as that, in which case we're going to spin out and suffer, or we can say, no, I'm not. I'm not on the outside of it. I'm not in the storm. The storm's happening, but I'm not in it. I can choose to not be in it, and I can choose not to go to war with myself or the rest of the world in the moment.
Yeah.
In each moment.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, also the way I see it is, you know, it's moment by moment. It's like the eye of the needle. It's literally as the moment comes in and there's a blustery storm, whether it's in your mind, whether it's outside you, wherever it is, it's only in that moment that you have the ability and the power to actually choose your state. You can't choose it when you're like that. You can't. And when you've spun out, then you've already spun out.
You lost your power.
You've already lost it, yeah.
Yeah, you've identified with the mind, you've identified with your ego, you've identified with your thoughts, and you've given your power to the world of situations and circumstance, maybe even other people. Now is the time for empowerment, to step back into our true power. The world needs us to wake up to our true, authentic power. It's our true, authentic power that is going to be the salvation for this world, shifting from the old world of fear and control to the new world of connection and community and love. That's the decision, but we all have to make it individually. And as we individually make that choice, we affect the collective, and we help the collective also make that same intelligent choice. Not to be a victim of situations and circumstances, but to realize the power we have within us, the power of awareness, the power of consciousness. Every thought we think and every feeling we feel is an act of creation. And the question is, who is creating? Is it the world of situations, the media, or are you creating? Because if you're really empowered, you will not create any more suffering. You will not create anger and depression and resentment and guilt. You won't, because you realize that's not the world I want to live in. Why am I, putting those bricks out there and building a house based in resentment or guilt? That doesn't help us all. Let's use the bricks that we want to build with. The bricks of joy and the big bricks of balance and peace and harmony. Let's use that in the world. And we can only use those bricks if we are in that space. If we're in the space of presence, then we can become a conscious co-creator of a beautiful new world, which is being born through us. This is a time of empowerment. And what disempowers us is when we identify through the mind with our situations or our circumstances. We identify with the body, or we identify with our work or our bank account or our relationships. That's disempowerment. Come back into your true authentic power, which can never be threatened, can never truly be threatened. Your mind can be sort of a deviant manipulator of your awareness and take you away from that. But in fact, it's always here. This power we're talking about can never be removed. It can never be taken from you. We can just be distracted from the awareness of this power, the power of presence, which is life itself.
Yeah.
And these are the times. These are trying times at the moment. We've probably waited many, many lifetimes to live this particular life.
We've
right
said,
now,
we
to
want
be
to
here
come
at this
back.
time.
We want to come in, and we're going to be here at this point.
Yeah.
At this point in the shift in
Yeah.
human consciousness, where it's really heating up.
Yeah.
And we're equipped. I think that's the big thing, is to know that we are equipped. It's not like we have to do anything to be equipped.
Or learn
We don't
anything
have
new.
to learn anything. We don't have to go and sit in a mountain for the next 2 years. You can, but you don't have to. So it's to know that we have what we need to navigate these storms, because we are not the storm. The storms will happen around us. But the more presence that we can actually move through the storms or the beauty or the whatever it is without attaching to it, that's how we actually get through it intact, I would say.
Yeah. And it's to know this, no matter what you're facing or whatever you will face in the future, there's a power and a presence within us, an intelligence that is best able to guide us through this process. The mind is such a limited intelligence. It knows so very, very little about the nature of the universe. It's stuck in time. And as such, it's very limited in what it knows about reality. But there is an intelligence that transcends time. It can be labeled the intuitive intelligence, but it can be also labeled the miraculous. And now is the time to step out of the mind and step into the field of the miraculous. What the world needs right now is a miracle. There's no ways that our mind is going to sort out the challenges and the problems that the world is facing right now. The mind cannot do it. But the field of the miraculous can, because that's what a miracle is. That's what a miracle is. So maybe you're needing a miracle in your personal lives, but we definitely need a miracle in our collective lives. And how do we invoke a miracle? Well, the truth is you can't invoke it. What you can is you enter the space of presence, and in that your mind is cleared, and the miraculous is the true nature of life. Life is a miracle. So all we have to do is get out of the way, get our mind out of the way, get our preferences and our judgments out of the way. Yes, the mind wants it to be that way. The mind wants justice to be sorted out over there. Leave that for a moment. Put that aside and come into the full acceptance of this present moment exactly as it is. We always say the portal into presence is through the heart, and that is a field of love, and that is allowing, accepting, and appreciating. Bring that into your awareness, and you become a portal for the miraculous to open up in your lives and to give you the guidance that you need in your life right now.
And one of those portals is beauty. So just stop the turmoil, stop, and just go and look at a flower. Because if you look at a flower, and you really do look at a flower, it's an absolute miracle.
It clears the mind.
And if you're in awe of the beauty of something like a flower, you've escaped the matrix. You've escaped the storm. You're actually at the center of the storm, because that is a miracle. And that it brings it completely into your awareness that life is a miracle. Look at the intricacy of just a little flower every single time. So this week, just make sure that you are grounding yourself. Go outside, walk outside without shoes on, put your feet in the grass or the earth or wherever you are, the sand, and just really just feel into nature. Because nature brings us into the center every time.
It does.
Yeah.
Because nature is life. And in truth, we are life. We are that life. Yeah. There's only one life. And our true being is that life. And when we focus on beauty, we clear the mind. We clear the perception of separation. And we open the portal for that miraculous, for that grace to flow into our lives and create the transformation that our heart so yearns for. So, are you going to draw a card, an affirmation? Well, shall I draw an affirmation card? We've got a whole bunch of cards here, a whole bunch of affirmation cards. And affirmations are such powerful ways of reformatting the brain. You know, the brain goes through these old programs running round and round. And a positive affirmation is one way of cutting through those old programs and creating a new reality inside our head. And the moment we create a new reality, a new possibility inside our mind, we create it in the world around us. So an affirmation isn't necessarily true when you first start saying it, but the more you say it, you create the neurological webs inside the mind that then allow a new perception to come into your awareness, and then you physically create that on the outside as well. It becomes your reality.
You can do that if your mind is very active. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't sleep and your mind's going around and around and around, say an affirmation over and over again like a mantra. I'm supported at all times. Or whatever it is, I'm open to love, I'm accepting of this moment, whatever your mantra is, whatever the affirmation is that counters some of the anxiety that you might be feeling, you will actually move out of the anxiety or the fear or the anger, whatever it is.
So I've chosen one randomly from the pack, and I think it's a beautiful one for tonight. So you'll weave that into your full moon meditation, will you? Okay, so Michelle's going to give us a lovely full moon meditation, and we'll reveal that affirmation for you during the meditation, and then I'll photograph it and put it up on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so just settling in. Taking a deep breath in. And a long, slow, releasing breath out. Take another deep, beautiful breath in. As you breathe in, just expand your tummy and bring that air all the way up into the top of your chest and hold for a moment and then release, 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 release. And let's do a third deep, beautiful breath in. And then a long, slow release. Let it all out. Let all that breath out. Let the day go. Let the weekend go. Just allow your breath to come back to normal. But be aware of the breath as it comes in and as it leaves. With full awareness of how it feels on your nostrils as it comes in, and then how it is as you exhale. And consciously on each exhale, soften your body, soften your shoulders. Allow your shoulders to drop down away from your ears. Put your shoulders back just a tiny bit so that you've opened your heart. Unclench your fists, uncross your legs. Allow your body to rest in a state of surrender. Allow your jaw to soften. the eyes, little muscles around the eyes. Bring a tiny smile to your mouth. Relax your ears. Relax your neck. Relax your shoulders. Relax your arms and your hands. Bring this wave of relaxation down through your torso, front and back, all the way down your spinal column. Relax your pelvis, your hips, your legs, your knees, your ankles, your feet. Really feel how it feels to surrender to this moment. To bring yourself into the center. To bring yourself back into what is real. If the mind is active, just allow it to be active. Bring your attention back to your breath and back to this beautiful central point. Let's make this central point a point of light right in the middle of your heart. Imagine that. Imagine a beautiful, beautiful point of light. Little flame positioned right in the center of you. Allow that flame to warm you and to radiate out from you. At this beautiful full moon, allowing the light of the full moon to ignite your inner light. At the center of your heart. This peace, this presence, this stillness. This is what's real. And returning to this will help you to navigate whatever comes your way. So right now we're releasing any worries, any anxieties, anything that might be bothering us on the outside, and we're returning, we're coming back to this midpoint, to this still point, this center point of awareness. Right to the eye, the big eye. The real eye. Which is always right here, only 1 or 2 breaths away. Come back into this heart space, into this point of light. Over and over again, as many times as you need to. And while we're at this beautiful central point, Take a deep breath in and out. And repeat our affirmation for the week, which is, I am love. Just breathe those words in. I am love. And as you repeat those words to yourself, allow your heart to expand, as if your heart could breathe. I am love. A color might come into your awareness. Let that infuse you and radiate out from you. I am love. Now taking a deep breath in and out. And imagine a beautiful egg of light surrounding you, protecting, holding, and loving you. In love. I am love. Taking a deep breath in again, and a release, and when you're ready you can gently open your eyes.
Thank you, that was beautiful. Thank you, it was really nice.
Good.
This card is powerful. The I is the center of the storm, the I. The I am is the name of God, and the love is who and what you are. I am love. What a powerful affirmation. And the color is the violet, sort of purpley violet card, which represents the crown chakra. So when you say that, just come back into this beautiful, you can imagine, a shaft of light coming through you. That's your presence. Always step back into the shaft of light and know that I am love. That's really, really beautiful.
Thanks everyone.
You are the light of the world. That's how precious you are. Just know that.
Lighting up our Sunday.
Yeah, thank you for being with us tonight. And talking of light, we came across we've been working with a healing technology. It's called LifeWave. Yeah, if any of you want to know more about healing with light, it's an amazing technology. Just let us know. Thank you all. Thank you for being with us tonight. And we love you, and we look forward to catching up with you in a fortnight. Well, those on the Inner Space group, we're going to meet
Tuesday
night. Yeah. Lots of love.
Thanks everyone.
Take care. Bye.